Welcome to
Mr. Collins.
exam revision. We're going to look at just a few topics to prepare us for the exam. So we're going to look at what is called our probability, which is coming from the discrete random variables. The discrete random variables. This happens to be one of the easiest topics. So I'm going to look at an example and I'll ask you to try. So for this random variable, you'll be given values from a discrete distribution as follows. So you'll be given maybe numbers like 1, 2, 3, 4, and you'll be given the probability of x as follows. We have 0 0.3, 0 0.2, 0 0.1, and 0 0.4. And you'll be asked to find the expected value. Now, the expected value sometimes will come in form of EX. So, expected value EX as follows. So I use two methods of calculating it. Number one, you're going to simply multiply column 1 and column 2 to get XPX. So 1 times 0.3, we get a 0.3. 2 times 0.2, we get a 0.4. Here 0.3, and here we get 1.6. So adding up this is what is going to give us our expected value. So when we total up this, we get 2.6. So this is called our expected value, 2.6. Expected value. So we write the letter E, not summation. So this is 1 multiplied by 0.3. Then we have a 2, 0.2. We have a 3, then 0.1, and we have a 4, and 0.4. This is another alternative if you don't want to draw that diagram. So this is what we call the expected value. Any questions? Are we clear on how to calculate the expected value? Then you could also calculate the variance by squaring the figures. I'll rewrite the probabilities here that we already given. We have the probability 0 0.2, 0.1. Okay, so what calculate our variance? So when we're squaring these figures here, we have 1, 4, 9, and 16. So apply these two columns here. We're going to have 0.3 here, 0.8 here. And when we apply these two, what do we get? 6.4. So the total here is the value of the expected. So quickly, anyone with a calculator, when we add this, what do we get? 8.4. Okay. And this is not the variance, but the variance is the difference between 8.4 minus a square. So the variance is simply summation of x squared px. Then we subtract the mean, which is the value of x px to the power 2. So this is 8.4 minus 2.6 squared. All right. What do we get?
1.64.
1.64. So this is called our variance. Then our standard deviation is simply when we square root the variance. So the square root of 1.64, what we get? Square root of 1.64, what do we get?
1.28.
1.28, correct. So that being said, I expect you to calculate this question 3. But before I go to question 3, sometimes you'll be asked to find the probability of x is greater than 2. Which numbers are greater than 2 here? We have 3 and 4. So looking at the probability of 3 plus the probability of what? 4. What is the probability of 3? 0.1. And what is the probability of 4? 0.4. So when we add these two, we're going to get 0.5. So this carries about 10 marks. This carries about 10 marks, unless there's anyone behind. I'll ask you to calculate for this particular one. Let me find the mean, the variance, standard deviation, and probability of 2 or fewer. How do you find the mean?
Summation of x over n.
Summation of x over n. I'm sure you came late. That is not the mean formula for discrete random variable. This is our x, and this is our probability. So the mean is simple when we apply x times the probability of x, and the total, so for the mean, 0, 0.36. Here we're going to get 0.5. Here we're going to get 0.21. Here we're going to get 0.08. The sum total is what we call the mean. So you need to know when to find the mean and which formula to use. Are we together? Thereafter, we're going to square the values of x. So we can call this A, and we multiply by the probability x to get xpx. So you multiply, we square these values 0, 1, 4, 9, 16. Then you multiply by the probabilities. The sum total here is called your B. So the mean is the sum total, which is our A. The variance is simply B minus A squared. Assuming you got the total there in the square of A, that is your mean. And your standard deviation is B minus A squared. So I need the solution on this particular question. Right. So I'll go to another question, which we tackled. Title was on linear regression. Linear regression is about relationships. Relationships can be upsloping. Relationships can be downsloping. Relationships can be horizontal. You need to know that regression equation is given by A plus bx. All right, so if your regression equation is upsloping, meaning your B is also positive, means your R is also positive. So regression equation will be A plus bx. If your linear regression line is negative, means your regression equation will also be negative. Here we're going to have A minus bx. B is a slope. A is a y-intercept. An intercept is a cutting point where it is cutting this axis here is called your A. Here A is here. It's our y-axis and our x-axis. So here the relationship is negative. When you have no relationship at all, you have a horizontal line. This means x and y have no relationship at all. Now, you'll be given a question which has x and y. So in this regression equation, you need to understand that some figures are called dependent variables, other figures are called independent variables. So in this case here, you'd be asked to plot this equation here. So we have our y, and we have our x. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is 0. So 1, 1, you can put your dot there. 2, 1.
Collins, we can't see anything.
Are you, is
I can see. I think maybe it's your network.
Yeah, we got audio and visual. Yeah.
all right? Please adjust your network. Can I proceed? This is 3, 2, 4, 2, and 5, 4. So you can see that this is an upsloping curve. Now, to come up with a regression equation, you need to fill up these columns as follows. X squared there and y squared there. Can you help me fill up this? What we have?
1 for xy.
Okay.
2, 6, 8, and 20. Then for x squared, we have 1, 4.
So here we have 1, 2, 6, 8, and 20. Here we have 1, 4, 9, 16, and 25. 1, 1, 4, 4, and 16. Help me find the totals. What totals do we have here?
Y squared is 26.
Okay. Y squared is 26.
And the x squared is 55. XY is 37. Then the y is 10. Oh, that's already done.
So the regression equation we know is given as follows: y is equal to a plus bx. So to find the a, we first need to find our b. Our b, some books will give you b1. Same thing, the formula is given by n xy x y n x squared minus x all squared. So we have everything there, except that you need to know that our n is 5 because the number of pairs are 5 there. So substituting here, we're going to have what? 5. Xy is what? 37. X is what? 15. Y is what? 10. And here x squared is 55. And our x is 15, the power 2. So our b is therefore going to be 0.7. Just from this table that you've just done. Our a is given by this formula. We see the a has a b part. So where there is b, we put what? 0.7. Then substitute those figures there. Our a is going to be negative 0.1. So this therefore gives you a regression equation will be given as follows: y is equal to negative 0.1 plus 0.7 x. So just leave the x and the y alone, substitute where the b and the a are. So this is 7 marks.
Sorry, on the equation you said a is equal to the summation of y, but the okay, no, I've seen it. Sorry, it's fine.
Any other questions? Okay. So
Sorry, just a quick question. With regards to regression analysis, is it compulsory that we have to plot, like say we're given a question, such issues arise where we have to plot the graph?
can you repeat your question?
Okay, so what I was saying was, we've got a question on regression. At any point in time, does a situation arise where we have to plot a graph?
For him, I haven't seen him asking you to plot the graph, but I'm just doing it holistically.
Okay, no, I just wanted to find out, just in case there are more marks.
If there are going to be any, it will be three marks for that, yeah.
Okay, great.
So remember, after I'm done here, I will need you to do this exam question for 2021. I've sent it already, I think on your group. I'll beam it here. So I need you to try that one. Okay, so we can proceed. So the regression equation is used, number 1, to show you how to plot sketch. Number 2, to predict. So they ask you to predict y if x is 10. So where there is y, we put 10. Where there is x, we put 10. So we already have the regression equation. So where there is x, we put 10. So we're going to predict our y, therefore, it's going to be 6.9. Then part C, they ask you to find R. R is called the coefficient of correlation. tells you whether the relationship is positive or negative. Coefficient of correlation can either be positive or negative. The formula is the longest, but since you're given formulas, also love that you know it. So it's similar to the formula for the slope, except that here we have two things in the brackets here. The variation in x is as follows. X power 2. The variation in y is as follows. That's y is throughout. So what was our n? N was 5, xy 37, minus our x was 15, and our y was what? 10. Then we have 5 there, 55 minus 15 squared. Then on the other side we had n which is 5, and y squared was what? 26. Y to the power 2 is 10 squared. So when you calculate properly, your error will be 0.903. Because it's positive, you can simply say x and y are positively related. Positively related. But if you square that same answer, the name changes. If you square that answer, the name changes. It's called R squared, is coefficient of determination. Coefficient of determination measures how much x affects y. If it was sales in terms of advertising, and the R squared is equal to 0.816, this simply means that 81.6% of y is affected by x. So, any questions at this point? So this carries 25 marks. This is the simplest and the easiest of the topics that I would want you to go for. Is there anyone behind? Okay. Take you through an exam question. Take you through exam type of a question. If there are no questions at that point. But before I go to the exam question, I also need to make mention to say you need to identify your dependent variable and your dependent and your independent variable. So the questions are going to come from this we call the QM Bible, chapter 14. This question has reoccurred several times. So we are told as follows: the number of hours and the exam score. We are asked to calculate the correlation between the two. So this was carrying 10 marks. So the number of hours are given as follows. The number of the exam score is given. How do we calculate the coefficient of correlation? We'll come up with this table here. Values of X and the values of Y. XY is here, X squared is there, and Y squared is there. So we have the totals. So R is given by N XY, and that's it. The value is summation of X, summation of Y, then N, the variation in X, and the variation in Y. So these figures here, when you substitute them, you're going to find your R as 0.862. So this tells you that there's a positive relationship between the hours you study and the exam score. So this question is coming. I need you to remember what I've just done. So this is how we do it. Any questions? Are you able to recall from what we're just doing?
Yeah, Mr. Collins, just a question. Does the lecturer give us a formula sheet in the exam?
Yes, yes.
I think I once heard that in class. He does?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
So in this was a so this was the previous exam, 2021. You see, this is the same exam question he got from the textbook. The attachments, although they came late at this once when people already had started. So I would want you to try question number 7. Define the correlation between variables and explain how to interpret the values of R. I've already told you that. And you're told the hours that were spent between 6 students. Find the correlation, you're given 7 marks. Test the correlation at 7.05. This I'll teach tomorrow. And also you're given the mileage and the price. So the mileage and the price. So I think this question we got it from here as well. So I need you to exhibit eligibility as you get to practice these questions. So I'll ask you to find the linear regression and interpret the results, and also predict when you have 50,000 miles. So meaning after you find the Y equation, choose a 50, because you can scrap out the zeros if you like in the regression equation. I don't expect you to throw this question, please. This is a full 25-mark question, and I'm hoping that you really apply everything I've explained. Okay, I've sent the question paper. Please go through it. I need question 7 fully done. So
Mr. Collins,
finally, yes, please.
if possible, I'm kindly asking if you could share this recording in the group. I kept on dropping, so there's some parts that I've missed.
All right, I'll send them. So we finally got to what we discussed, ANOVA, analysis of variance. So analysis of variance, we have a one-way ANOVA, which has 3 sources. We have variations that are coming from between the blocks, from within the blocks, and from the total. So the acronym that we use is SSB and SSW. The total is SSD. And the degree of freedom, this is K minus 1. This is N minus K. And finally, you subtract the 1 from the total there. So the mean of squares, just use the MSB. And this is MS what? MSW. Then the F calculated, simply divide the mean square block divided by the mean square within. The layman's language, our summary of what I'm doing.
Before we proceed, just a clarification. So SSW is the same as SSE?
SSW is same as SS error.
Yeah, which is SSE, right?
This treatment,
Okay.
it's the same thing. Okay. So in this case here, the number of columns is denoted by the letter K. So K here is equal to 3. The total number of elements is denoted by N. And how many elements we have? 12. And suppose we calculated these, and our SSB was given, and our SS total was given. Here as 20, here as 56. You ask us to balance this up. So let's do it together. So we have 3 sources here. We have the between. We also have the within. We have the total. So here we have the sum of squares, the degree of freedom, the mean of squares, the F calculated. Okay, and you can have the F tabulated if you want, the decision. So the sum of square between were given as 20. Put the 20 there. Sum of square total is 56. You put a 56 there. How do we get the within? How do we get the within?
Yes.
The difference.
Yes.
And what's the difference?
36.
Yeah.
Okay, 36. Are we all agreeable? 36. So put 36 there. Okay, so let's go to the degree of freedom for between is K minus 1. What is our K there? 3. So 3 minus 1, 2. Then what is the degree of freedom for within? N minus K. And what is our N minus K?
12 minus 3,
Which is what?
9.
The total here is 11. And here we divide this in there. This mean square. You just put a division sign here. I don't want to forget. So 20 divided by 2, 10.
10.
6 divided by 9, 4.
4.
And finally,
14.
this into there. You put a division sign there. 10 divided by 4, 2.5. Are we together? How did we get the 36? How did we get the 36? Somebody?
It's the difference. It's the within. So you're getting the SSB minus SSB.
Okay. Is it right? Is it right? Okay. So
Sorry, how did you get the degree of freedom for the within?
There's a question there. How do you get the degree of freedom for the within?
Minus k, you've been given an n, which is 2. You've been given a k, which is 3. So when you subtract 3 from the 12, it gives you 9.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Any other question? Okay, I need the questions to come through before I take you to the exam question. Okay, so just on the balancing, I need you to try attempt this question which came in the exam paper. Fill in the blanks. Okay, I'll call them A, B, C, and D. A, B, C, and D. Who can help us find A? How do you find A?
We subtract 72.11 from 56.68.
Okay,
We do the opposite. Subtract the 56 from 72.
get the difference, yeah? A is called what? Sum of square between. So it's 72 point what? 11 minus 56 point what? 68. What do we get? What do we get?
15 point.
At 15.43.
Or 3. How do we get the B? B is what? Degree of freedom within. How do we get the B? We subtract 24 minus 4. Since the totals must add up, we get a 20. How do we get the C? The C is our mean square within. We divide the 56.68 divided by what? The 20. How do we get the D? The D is the F calculated. We divide our mean square between divided by the mean square within. So the 4 we divided by the answer we got here. What was 56.68 divided by 20? $1.83. So 1.83 and divide it in there, you get your answers. So this is how it will look like finally. Input the solutions to this one. But do you understand what I'm talking about? Are we together?
We're together because we're with you right now, but the moment you leave us, it's chaos.
Don't forget.
Please don't. I really want you to remember. That is the easiest one.
Mr. Collins, afternoon. Sorry. Hello, sorry, Mr. Collins.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I can hear you. I can hear you.
Yeah, I'm worried. My time, it means the timetable changed. I didn't know the class is on.
No, this is not part of the timetable. If you can see the timetable, we don't have class. So I'm just trying to fuse in those that cannot make the physical class. I'm supposed to be resting. Between 16 and 20, there's nothing. So I thought I could just fuse in the rest of it. So some of the classes that are not within the timetable, I'll be sending through links abruptly. Don't feel left out. The timetable will also cover it. Is that clear?
Yeah, this is a big topic that I missed.
You have not missed anything. I'm still teaching it.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Thank you.
Any other questions? All right. I only have 10 minutes. I gave you 30 minutes of each topic. We've done 3 topics already. Lastly, let me teach you how to calculate the if you're given if you're not given the figures here, for instance, 1, 2, 3, 2, 1, 2, 4, 1, 1. So the first thing is you sum them up, you number them, and you square them individually. So when you add these ones here, we're getting a 6. How many are they? 1, 2, 3. So you put a 3 there. You square them individually. This is 1 plus 4, 5. 5 plus 9, 14. Here we add them, 5. How many are they? 3. 4 plus 1, 5. 5 plus 4, 9. You sum them up here, 6. How many are they? 3. 4 plus 1 plus 1, 10. And the totals that we have, this is 11 plus 6, 17. This is 9. And here, what do we get? 23. And here we have 33. So here what we have is our summation of x, our capital N, and summation of x squared. Right, so we need to find the sum of square total. The formula for sum of square total is as follows: x squared minus x all squared over capital N. So 33 minus 17 squared over 9. We also have the sum of square between the blocks, which is simply the summation of each treatment minus the correction term. So we're getting them individually. 6 squared over 3, 5 squared over 3, 6 squared over 3. So 6 squared over 3, 5 squared over 3, 6 squared over 3, minus the correction term, which is 17 squared over 9. So what do we get here as the totals?
Sorry, before you proceed, I wanted to find out what is correction term.
This x squared is up, it's happening everywhere, it's found everywhere. It's a correction term.
I think I remained a bit behind. But on sum of x2, how have we arrived at 14, 9, and 10?
Being 9 and 10, here we're squaring each individual. It's this squared plus this squared plus this squared.
Ah, okay.
1 plus 4, 5. 5 plus 9,
Yeah,
14. This squared,
okay.
squared, this squared. 4 plus 1, we get this total. This squared, and this squared. That's how we're getting the total there. Don't square this guy to come here, no. Is that clear?
Okay, thank you. Yeah, thank you very much.
All right, give me the values there and help me calculate the ANOVA table. This is 25 marks. You can't afford to miss this topic. Quickly, what did you get here? Quickly,
Negative
no, don't
543.
if there's a negative, then there's an error somewhere.
Zero 0.88.
For what answer?
0.88.
Total. Where's 0.8 going? Please hurry. Let's get the figures. Have the calculators nearby. The 3 minus 17 squared divided by 9, 0.88, 0.89. And 6 squared plus 5 squared plus 6 squared equals divided by 3, 82.33 minus 17 squared divided by 9, 0.22. Here put 0.89, 0.22. The treatment is the same as what? Between. How do we get the difference here? Zero point.
Subtract 0.57, yes. 67.
Degree of freedom for the treatment, k minus 1. So this is 3 minus 1. Get a 2. And divide the 2 in there, you get 0.11. Here it is n minus k. What is our n? 9. 9 minus 3 is equal to 6. 167 divided by 6, 0.11. You divide there, you get a 1. So this is how you get your 15 marks. This is how you get your 15 marks. So I'll take you back to the exam. Exam also came with an over. You need to realize that this also came from your Bible book. The chains here, yeah, you'll be asked to get the totals, find the sum of square total between and within, and test. You need to come up with an over table. This is 25 marks. So you can't afford to miss this question as well. So I'll require of you to do this question as well. Like I said, it's coming from this, your Bible as well. You check it out. But none of the questions, most of the questions will come from here. So the chains, I'll just show you that you can appreciate this book. This year we might have this. The chain has come twice. Chain. So you see this question here. Chain 1, chain 2, chain 3. We've been asked to conduct a one-way ANOVA. So from this, you can see that this was what you're supposed to do, find the totals, calculate them, etc. All right, so I think I've covered basically what we covered during the day. Unless there are any questions, I'll end here.